Hi there, my name is Liz Hathway and this is my astrological look at the week ahead. That's the week starting 19th November 2018. It's quite a big week this week. We have a full moon on Friday. That's in the very early degrees of Gemini. So, there's a sense with the moon in Gemini of many voices, of many points of view. It's very multivalent in a way, if you like. And of course the sun is in Sag, Jupiter ruled, but Jupiter, now that the sun is in Sag, is very much, under the glare of the sun. So we can't actually see always, the things that Jupiter are giving, the benefits that Jupiter can give us. What we've got this week as well is an excess of planets in mutable signs. We have the sun, because the sun moves into Sag on, on Thursday. So then we have the sun in Sag, we have Mercury in Sag, we have Mars in Pisces, we have Jupiter in Sag, and we have Neptune in Pisces as well. When we get this many planets in mutable signs, then, we get to situations becoming very volatile. We get to, it's very difficult to reach a consensus. As I say, certainly moon in Gemini, it's very much, about many voices. So you can get like this feeling of crisis. It's a kind of a face-off in some ways as well, a full moon, when planets are, opposite each other. It's like they see the other fully, but they don't agree. They're coming from a different place, a different space. They have a different view, a different idea. The moon in Gemini is Mercury ruled. Mercury is retrograde at the moment in Sag. So it's maybe very difficult for, people to, or the public, or, they don't feel that they have a voice, they don't have a say. So there again, this is definitely politically very volatile. So I think in many ways, if you're looking for solid ground under your feet, if you're looking for outcomes, if you're looking to know exactly which way the wind is blowing, this is not a week that's going to bring you a lot of joy. It's going to just confuse you. You're just going to get maybe caught up in events or, in stories and narratives and news and whatever. So there's a side of me, don't forget I'm a Capricorn, right? There's a side of me that's just saying, I think I would like to skip on all of that this week, all that chaos. And I'm just going to go with, Saturn in Capricorn, Pluto's in there, great. I'm just going to stick to my agenda and work my things through and just, keep an eye on things, keep an eye on the news, keep an eye on, but avoid, getting drawn into discussions, avoid, yes, I'm right, no, you're not, those kinds of arguments, because I think that full moon could be incredibly argumentative. It could be very disruptive. It could be very, sap energy in a way and not really, deliver the goods, not, what's the point of it all? I think that's the kind of sense I think I'm getting from it. It's a very Marsy week. Mars is in Pisces. Don't forget that full moon is square Mars. Mars in Pisces, it's the last sign of the zodiac, Pisces. So when Mars gets in there, it's waiting to come into the sign of its rulership, Aries. So it's kind of, it's kind of at the end of the end of the cycle of signs in a way. And so, Mars in Pisces as well, it's looking for its group. It's looking for the right current that it can swim in. The fish, they're very dualistic. We have the one that, goes up, and the other one that sort of swims along the ecliptic and is much more concerned with, the earthly affairs, with, sort of the day-to-day. And then the other fish is looking for more spiritual, more, sort of more engaging, maybe more things that it can become more passionate about. But it's Mars in Pisces is changing. It's kind of, and it's also a little bit indecisive as well, Mars in Pisces. So yeah, again, that emphasises that idea, I think, of find it very difficult to reach a consensus. On what we have on Tuesday is Mars square Jupiter. Tuesday is in the build up to the full moon. it's quite explosive in many ways. We have Mars square Jupiter, and although Mars likes Jupiter, it's in Jupiter's sign. There's still always a sense with the square, Mars-Jupiter square, of putting in an awful lot of effort, of, you know, like moving heaven and earth in a way, you know, to get a certain result. But, you know, Moon is in Aries as well, so there's a great, you know, there's a good push here, but square Pluto, which is always quite, there's always a risk when Moon squares Pluto, certainly when Moon is in Aries as well, where it's kind of, you know, quite headstrong and, you know, quite prepared to, you know, make a stand and fight. This can be quite explosive, eruptive, you know, a sort of an eruption of energy and, you know, yeah, kind of passion indeed, but also, you know, it's quite violent sometimes as well, Moon square Pluto. You know, it can be quite aggressive. Certainly Moon in Aries, there's an aggressiveness here. And Moon opposite Venus, again on Tuesday, you know, relationships can suffer, relationships can go through sort of crisis because there's Moon going to conjunct Uranus as well. So your relationships are certainly as well. We're going up to that full moon as well. You know, so there's kind of like relationships on Tuesday, I feel, are very much under pressure. You know, there's pressure there. Fortunately, as I say, we do have more positivity when Sun goes into Sagittarius, although we keep that excess of fluid, excess of mutable, you know, so people, it almost feels like, if I look at it completely just from the terms of like what's happening in UK politics at the moment, you know, I think people are finding it really difficult to choose a side, you know, it's kind of still a little bit indecisive. There's an indecisiveness there. But we see on Sunday then we have Neptune going direct. So, you know, Neptune has been stationary for a good portion of this week. You know, Neptune is, you know, we've had the square from Mercury, you know, though there's more of that to come. But I think Neptune going direct, in a way, it's sort of, it also increases that feeling of idealism, which we get when the Sun comes into Sag. You know, let's try and be optimistic. Let's try and keep an eye on the big picture. Let's find a universal sort of theme. Let's kind of unite in some way, because Neptune in Pisces is very much, you know, for the people, of the people. You know, let's bind, let's come together, let's meet up. But I think it's a very, very difficult cycle that we're in at the moment. As I say, Jupiter is now in Sag, but very close to the Sun, so it's not yet clear, you know, what the future holds in a way. We're still struggling to see it. And in the meantime, you know, it's like a smorgasbord, you know, there's so much on offer that for many people, the Moon is always the people, Moon in Gemini. You know, there's so many voices coming at us. You know, how do we, you know, make a decision? How do we, you know which way to go? So I think, as I say, for me personally, thinking purely as a Capricorn, you know, for me, I think this is just a week to just get on with business. Don't let business suffer. And just, you know, be aware of what's going on. But, you know, try and avoid getting sucked into things and getting drawn out and, you know, sort of just play it cool. Have a good week. Bye.